What cheer, y'all? Welcome back to Reddit the Wire. Well, we had two great Derby preps over the weekend. The Santa Anita Derby has to be considered the best, but the Wood Memorial was a good one as well. We did have a couple notable scratches, or one notable scratch, and then another. We had Hill Road backed out of the race, and Bear Claw Necklace as well. To be honest, it was probably just as well because I don't think Hill Road would have had much of a chance in this race due to the way the track was playing. None of the late runners were really able to do very much, so it's probably a good thing that he scratched because I don't know that he would have been able to do a lot, and I would assume he's off the Derby trail at this point. However, we still had a good race, and let's take a look at it, answer some questions, pose some new ones.
Junior, they're in. Statesman, Samuel Morin, Sand Devil, Jose Lescano, Omaha, Omaha, to the outside. Goes in. All set. And they're off.
And everybody was away pretty well. Rodriguez was pretty sharp as expected, and on the rail was sent right to the lead like we thought. Captain Cook right on his throat latch, and a little surprised Sand Devil took back. Thought he'd be in the mix and early on, but really didn't do very much running. Tiger 24 and Mai Matoli were keen. But couldn't really make a lot of headway. Grande, towards the back, obviously, he and Passion Rules were clearly the two who were able to close against the bias. They have to give him a lot of credit. Plus, Grande in particular was taken wide throughout, so really gets a lot of kudos for the kind of race he ran. You see, they were smart. They got engaged in the race earlier than perhaps a later runner would, and that was the right thing to do because, as you'll see, the late runners really just couldn't make any headway if you were at the back at this point. You see Rodriguez traveling nicely.
Tiger 24 Statesman, Omaha, Omaha. They're still chasing Mike Smith and Rodriguez.
You see Sand Devil's trying to make an effort, but really just not much. Just didn't have it. Didn't think he was going to factor too well. But and you see Grande, even though he's carried four wide, still keeping on well, and he ran huge. I thought he run pretty well, but I didn't expect him to run this well. He did a really yeoman effort. And you see Captain Cook just not much in the stretch, and I think that has to do with his pedigree for Passion Rules with a really nice close. But Rodriguez did what we kind of thought he might do, and watching the track that day, I thought a front runner had a good chance to win, so it was a nice solid win for Rodriguez. So let's grade it out.
5 seconds.
So looking at this race, I mean, obviously, I think the later runners were at a bit of a disadvantage, but when you consider that Grande and Passion Rules were able to account for the early speed bias, or not quite, yeah, it was a bias. I mean, that I think they ran really well. And then the jockeys were really smart to engage them early, get them moving earlier, so that they could factor in the race. The closers, the ones who had to have it at the back, I mean, they just really, McAfee made a little bit of a run, but that was about it. Rodriguez certainly gets an A. Mike Smith was, I thought, did exactly what he was supposed to do. And, he just took advantage of the rail, got on it, and never looked back and kept going. It was a very solid race for Rodriguez. I've always thought that he was a better Derby prospect than Barnes or Citizen Bull in a lot of respects because of the speed and the fact that Bob Lewis really impressed me. The fact that he was able to, they did everything in their power to keep him off the lead, and he still was able to get second, and that was validated here. They let the horse do what he wants to, and it paid dividends. Whether or not he can go all the way in the Derby, that's a big question mark. I'd like to see his stride be a little longer, but it's going to be a very tall order. But again, I think they finally putting him in a position where he could do what he wants to. Uh, hey, he did exactly what he was supposed to do. It was a fine effort. He gets an A. I thought Captain Cook ran his race. He's just not good enough. Probably, one time in a mile and an eighth against a really weak field, yeah, he can win that race. The horse has some talent for sure, but not when you've got a little deeper field. You got a horse like Rodriguez, you got to run down, and he just didn't have any punch late. I've never really been a big fan of the horse, and I think that was validated. Thought Tiger 24 and Mima Toley tried to make an effort out of it. They tried to run their race. It just isn't good enough right now. I think Mima Toley has got some potential to be better, but it seemed like the last race really the Gotham took a lot out of him because he just backed up pretty quickly. So he gets a D plus. Tiger 24 hung in a little bit longer, and he was a maiden moving into a grade one. So I'll give him a C minus as a decent effort. I thought Sand Devil didn't do anything at all, really nothing. I didn't like him in the race. I don't think he's a two-turn horse. But I did think he would pressure Rodriguez a little bit more from the front end. And I think the fact that they took him back clearly was an indication that they were concerned he wasn't going to get the distance. And he really just didn't do any running at all. So he gets a D. And I was pretty close to giving him an F, to be honest, because he didn't do anything based upon his prior efforts. He didn't run the way he normally does. And just no good. Hill Road incomplete because he scratched. Grande was the star of the day, I think, without a doubt. He got carried wide around every turn. And they made a move on him early to get it engaged. And, and again, wide around every turn. He ran a monster. He probably ran a mile and 3/8 that day, it seemed like, because he lost so much ground. But an excellent effort coming off of Lasix and following up with what was, a decent win against a pretty mediocre field. I think he really showed a lot of quality, and he made a fan out of me for sure. I'll be very interested to see what he can do in the Derby. It's good to see Todd Pletcher finally get a Derby horse this year. He may get one more in the Bluegrass. We'll see. But Grande, I thought, was the best horse on the day, without a doubt. Considering all the ground he lost, if he had a little bit better trip and maybe able to have been inside a little bit more, I think he could have. He had a really good chance to win the race. May have been that he doesn't like kickback. Could be something like that they kept him wide. I don't know. But hey, nice race. Passion Rules surprised me a bit. He basically followed the same path that Grande did, got into the race earlier. It was the right thing to do, just not quite enough. And he's a horse who I had question marks about his pedigree. They may have had something to do with it, but he did close pretty well. And he's probably got a pretty good future. We'll see where they put him next. Bear Claw Necklace is a scratch, and again, took away from the pace picture, made things a lot easier for Rodriguez. McAfee, I didn't think ran badly, and in some ways he ran better than Captain Cook did, and he gets a C plus because he did close against the bias. He did make a pretty, he was moving late. It just wasn't nearly enough, but at least he was ready to roll, and he did run pretty well. I thought he might have a chance at getting under, and thought he ran pretty well. Statesman in Omaha, nothing. I mean, Statesman got carried about 7 wide in the first turn, but he just didn't do any running at all. And I think it's just indicative of the fact that he needs pace to run to. And on a track where it was favoring early speed and, you get carried that wide, you're just not going to be able to do much. And I think he's a promising horse, but didn't have it that day. Omaha, same thing. I mean, we know he's a dead closer. And he just didn't do any running. Maybe, he's been in a lot of races, might have caught up with him. Who knows? The bias didn't help him, but he didn't close into it. He didn't do anything to overcome it. And I always thought his quality was kind of questionable, and I think it was borne out. He just didn't run very well in the race at all. So, Grande, the star of the day, without a doubt, but Rodriguez punched his ticket for the Derby. Takes the sting out of the Santa Anita Derby for Bob Baffert, I guess. And he's interesting. We'll see. I think he's his stride, with a horse kind of a short stride, that I do wonder about 1.25 miles. But anyway, he is very intriguing, and he certainly will be part of the pace scenario. If not on the lead, he'll be the second or third horse right there. So we'll see what happens in the Derby. So pretty good race, I thought, overall, and certainly answered a lot of questions. And the new one is, can Grundy do it again, or can he build off this race? And I'm very excited to see what he's going to do. We'll see how he trains. We've already got a post out replaying and analyzing the Santa Anita Derby, so go take a look at that one. That was just a phenomenal race. I think you'd agree with me on that. We're gonna have our top 20 list. We'll do that after the Bluegrass. So Tuesday night that'll likely be out, and I think that'll pretty much solidify the Derby picture after that race. Although we do have the Lexington coming up, we'll be taking a look at that as well. We'll focus on Keeneland. We'll have our usual full card. We'll have our late sequence and all that good stuff. We're also probably going to start with individual Derby profiles on all the horses. I think now we have the field solidified. We can start doing that. And then later on, as I mentioned in the Santa Anita Derby post, for those of you who have been around, been in our community, know that we'll do our elements of handicapping. We'll analyze the Derby field based on form, class, speed, and pace. And then we'll put it all together in our final assessment. So we'll be doing that gradually as we move towards the Derby, so there'll be plenty of content. We're going to try to do that for the Oaks as well. And I think the Oaks is a really interesting field, to be sure. See if Tenma can handle the horses in the East Coast, because she looks pretty good for Bob Baffert as well. Certainly, I hope this assessment helps you with your own formulation, maybe gives you a help in gauging the capability of some of these Derby contenders. And certainly if you do like content like this, please like and subscribe. And again, thanks to all of you who grow our community. Thanks for the comments. Keep them coming. Kevin, you especially, you get a gold star this week, and you know why. So thank you. We've a lot more. Stay tuned for that this week and beyond as we get closer to the Kentucky Derby. It's really getting exciting now. So that's it from here. I'll talk to you soon. And until then, be well.